Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. All right, guys, I'm back with more updates out of the Middle East, and I want to give you some more information regarding this ongoing war between Israel and Iran. And I have a very big update on whether the U.S. is going to be joining in to team up with Israel to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Take a look at your screen here. Trump privately approves plan to attack Iran, awaiting final order to strike. President Trump informed top advisors he approved of attack plans for Iran that were presented to him, but said he was waiting to see if Iran would be willing to discuss ending the nuke program. So this is a very big update. What we're hearing here is privately, behind closed doors, Trump has allegedly approved some attack plans, but we're awaiting the official green light for the U.S. military to roll in and carry out these strikes or whatever their plan is to go after Iran here. So we're going to talk more about this today, and I have numerous other updates coming out from the Middle East that I want to share with you guys. And it looks very likely that in the next few days, or maybe by this weekend, we could see the U.S. carrying out strikes onto Iran. Let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to hop on over to X with Nexta. Trump has approved a plan to attack Iran, but has not issued the final execution order. The Wall Street Journal reports that one possible U.S. target could be Fordow, Iran's main nuclear facility, currently out of reach for Israeli strikes, located in a mega bunker beneath a mountain. So here's a report from Wall Street Journal today. Trump privately approved attack plans for Iran, but has withheld final order. The conflict between Iran and Israel continues in the Middle East. President Trump is considering multiple options, including a U.S. strike on Iran. Follow along for live updates, news, and analysis as the conflict unfolds. So there's the update here that we have in the last few hours. It looks like the U.S. is going to be carrying out these strikes here very soon, most likely, and they're just waiting for Trump to basically give the order to execute this attack. So it looks like the U.S. is ready to go. We're hearing that they've got all their assets currently positioned in the correct parts of the Middle East, and they're ready to strike as soon as Trump says to go ahead and do so. Now from Mario Nafal, Trump questions if U.S. bunker busters can destroy Iran's Fordow nuclear site. Trump is pressing aides on whether U.S. bunker buster bombs can truly destroy Iran's fortified Fordow nuclear facility. The uncertainty is a key reason he is hesitating to launch a strike. Pentagon officials say the bombs would work, but Trump isn't fully convinced. He wants to avoid a prolonged war and insists any strike must guarantee results. Israel lacks the capability to destroy Fordow without U.S. help. Trump maintains strategic ambiguity, while Envoy Witkoff reportedly continues back-channel talks with Iran. And the source was Axios today. Okay, so this is an interesting story as well, because apparently also a part of this, why he's holding back on these strikes, is to make sure that he is 110% sure if they launch these strikes onto the Fordow nuclear facility, that it will for sure be destroyed, because there's been lots of talk that this facility might be buried deep enough into a mountain that even some of the most powerful bunker-busting bombs might not be able to penetrate deep enough and strike this facility. So that's obviously a concern, and they want to make sure they're not dragged into a major war over here where maybe even at some point they have to put boots on the ground. So it's definitely a dangerous situation, and Trump wants to make sure there's going to be major success when they carry out this strike. Now from Mosen Technical, Israel informed the U.S. that if they are not able to take out Iran's Fordow nuclear facility with bunker-busting bombs, they may do it with humans. Now, I thought this was another interesting report. Okay, so Israel stating that they're going to try to launch this strike onto Fordow and try to destroy one of these remaining nuclear facilities that's basically buried into a mountain. Here's kind of like a map indicating where this is located at and where the tunnel entrances are. You can see here it says long axis of main centrifuge hall, parallels ridgeline, and terrain protected ancillary services building, likely including HVAC equipment. So it's a massive facility underground, buried deep into a mountain. And if they cannot strike it using bunker-busting bombs, and Israel apparently has weaker bunker-busting bombs that cannot go as deep as some of the ones that the U.S. has with the B-2 Spirit bombers, they might have to put boots on the ground and launch some sort of special operation and potentially destroy it using humans instead of bunker-busting bombs. So that's a very crazy story today. We could possibly see the Israelis carrying out some sort of operation on the ground as well. Now, Formosa defenders, senior U.S. officials, including the top leaders of several federal agencies, are preparing for the possibility of a strike against Iran in the coming days, with some pointing to potential plans for a weekend strike, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke with Bloomberg. Yeah, so I mentioned to you guys earlier that possibly in the next 48 hours, maybe that's what Trump is doing here. I'm sure he's concerned to make sure that these strikes are going to be accurate and destroy this facility. But on top of that, they're also looking into seeing if Iran is willing to agree to a nuclear deal. Now, it's been more than 2 months now since Trump gave them a 60-day demand to agree to a nuclear deal. If not, strikes were going to be carried out onto Iran. But we'll see. Maybe the Iranians will come to the table and agree to something. I've been hearing that he might set up a team to meet with the Iranians. So it looks like there's still some diplomacy being held in the backgrounds, but we haven't heard any concrete evidence as of yet. So now from World Source News 24/7, breaking CNN report. Early next week, all senators will participate in a confidential hearing on the war in Iran. Okay, this is interesting. Also, CNN's reporting on this today that all U.S. senators are going to participate in a confidential hearing regarding this war. Now, I wonder if this will be before or after the strikes are carried out. Okay, so if they carry out these strikes like this weekend, let's say, early next week, maybe this confidential hearing will be like them getting together, discussing how effective it was, or maybe what the next plans are and how they move forward. But I'm thinking if this happens and senators do get together next week, maybe we might not see these strikes take place until after Congress gets together. At least senators decide to meet with a confidential hearing. We'll see about that. Now for Mario Nawfal. Tulsi Gabbard bails on Senate Iran briefing while senators demand answers on a possible war. The U.S. Intel chief was a no-show. Tulsi Gabbard canceled her scheduled Senate Intelligence Committee briefing Wednesday, citing a White House obligation. Democrats say they still don't have basic details on cost, strategy, or troop risk if Trump joins Israel strikes. One official hinted at friction, saying Gabbard's performance has drawn criticism inside Trump's circle. Source was Axios. This reminds me of just recently when Tulsi Gabbard here, the director of national intelligence in the U.S., she stated in a committee hearing that apparently Iran was not anywhere close to achieving a nuclear weapon yet. And then Trump coming out over the last 24 hours is saying he doesn't care what she has to say. He believes that Iran is very close to obtaining a nuclear weapon. So I'm not sure why she canceled that briefing today, but that's definitely a little concerning. Considering that we're very close to seeing a war over here, and it makes you wonder if this war could kick off much sooner than most of us even believe. Now, for Formosa Defender, the U.S. military has moved some aircraft and ships from bases in the Middle East that may be vulnerable to any potential Iranian attack, two U.S. officials told Reuters. One of the officials said naval vessels had been moved from a base in Bahrain, where the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet is headquartered, while aircraft that were not in hardened shelters had been moved from the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Yeah, so what we're hearing is a lot of these ships earlier, U.S. warships and British warships were starting to leave Bahrain and getting out of the Persian Gulf. Maybe they're afraid of being trapped in there if the Iranians try to cut off the Strait of Hormuz. And also they'd be in direct strike range of being attacked by Iran also. So I think the U.S. just moving a lot of their assets out of the Middle East, especially in Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE as well, and getting them out of harm's way if Iran decides to launch a major attack. They're starting to move a lot of their military hardware. So that's another big sign we're going to see some strikes soon. Now for Max 25, Khamenei rejected talks with the U.S., yet a senior Iranian official said Tehran is open to meeting Trump's envoy or J.D. Vance, signaling readiness for ceasefire talks if Israel halts its strikes, according to New York Times. Iran would accept Trump's offer to meet soon, also reported by the New York Times. So two major reports here. So Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the Iran supreme leader, he's apparently rejecting talks with the U.S. directly, but apparently he's willing to have a delegation represent Iran and meet with Trump's envoy or maybe J.D. Vance and discuss ending this war here. And maybe, Iran might give up their nuclear program. But so far, they've been coming out saying they will not surrender and whatnot. So we're going to see what happens here. Trump was mentioning earlier today, this afternoon, that the Iranians might meet with him and they might even come to the White House. So we'll see what happens there. Now, ME24 or Middle East 24. Exclusive and ME24 source confirmed that those who arrived in Oman aboard Iranian planes were family members of Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, along with families of other top regime officials fleeing to protect themselves from expected Israeli strikes. The source revealed that certain Iranian security agencies have been quietly executing a plan to evacuate key families, which began hours ago with their transfer to the Sultanate of Oman. The source added that this is what led to confusion in media reports, with some mistakenly believing that the Iranian aircraft that landed in Oman this morning carried negotiators, when in fact it carried the relatives of regime officials. So I reported this to you guys, actually, I think it was yesterday. We had reports that there was governmental planes that were flying out of Tehran and heading down to the UAE, and we weren't sure exactly why they were doing that. They could have been going to Oman as well, as we were hearing that Trump was trying to set up some sort of talks with the Iranians. And then soon after that, the defense minister of Iran, Abbas Araghchi, had confirmed that there was no negotiations being held. So apparently the planes that were leaving Tehran as of yesterday evening were apparently family members of the regime officials in Iran. Now, Marian Afal, North Korea, Israel is a cancer. Pyongyang is dialing up its rhetoric as regional tensions escalate. North Korea's foreign ministry accused Israel of violating Iran's sovereignty and committing crimes against humanity. In a statement broadcast by state outlet KCNA, it blamed the U.S. and the West for enabling the attacks. The present grave situation witnessed by the world clearly proves that Israel, supported and patronized by the U.S. and the West, is a cancer-like entity for the peace in the Middle East, and a chief culprit of destroying global peace and security. Source was CNN. Yeah, so that was the North Koreans coming out and condemning the actions of Israel attacking Iran. Now the U.S. is starting to get involved, so the North Koreans were not very happy with Iran being attacked in the way that they are right now from Israel. Also for Megatron, Ron just in, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, regarding the war in the Middle East, Israel's actions violate international law. We cannot sit back and watch. The right and wrong in the current situation are clear, and Israel's actions violate international law. We cannot sit back and watch the regional situation slide into an unknown abyss. The international community, especially the countries of the region, should continue to unite to form an international voice against the war. So China also doing the same thing, coming out and condemning these Israeli strikes onto Iran. And they're stating they cannot sit back and just watch this situation unfold over here. And basically the entire Middle East is in chaos right now due to Israel striking Iran. So the Chinese were not very happy with this also. And I believe the Chinese are purchasing oil from Iran. So I wonder if that's also why they're concerned about that. So now moving on to Max 25. Putin says Russia wants to end the conflict in Ukraine as quickly as possible and preferably peacefully. Putin also said Iran is not asking Russia for military assistance. We had previously offered Tehran to work on air defense systems, but they did not show much interest. Yeah, I wonder if it's because all the air defense systems that were given to Iran by Russia have been destroyed. As we've been hearing, a lot of these were not very effective at all. I mean, within 48 hours, Israel reportedly had control of the skies over Tehran. So a lot of these air defense systems we heard were destroyed before a lot of the warplanes from Israel even showed up into Iranian airspace and inside of Iraq as well, when they were launching all these strikes at the very beginning of this war last week. So apparently, Iran is not asking Russia for any military assistance, which I thought is interesting. You would think they would be, considering that they don't have very many friends left to help them, and they're at war with Israel and basically the U.S. right now as well, especially if the U.S. gets involved kinetically here very soon. So yeah, that was just some updates coming out from Putin. He was holding a conference today. I'll probably show you guys some information on that tomorrow, as he said multiple things during a conference. Now from RT, Iran has dismantled Israel's air defense, clearing the way for thunderous strikes, as IRGC spokesperson. Tells Israelis to choose a slow death in bomb shelters or flee as quickly as possible. This was a video shared by Fars News. Now, we're not going to watch this whole thing. What I will do is link it down below in the description. I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be. This is almost a 2-minute clip of this RGC spokesperson talking. But the main thing I want to show you guys is what he says here when he says that Iran has dismantled Israel's air defense. Now, something we reported earlier is that Israel's spending somewhere, I'm hearing anywhere from like 120 up to 245 million per day just in missile interceptors to bring down a lot of these incoming ballistic missiles, and some of these require 12 plus interceptors at a time just to shoot down one ballistic missile, assuming they can even bring them down. And I'm going to show you guys a new video here in just a little bit of interceptors completely missing multiple ballistic missiles fired from the Iranians and slamming into Israel, apparently. So that's what Iran is stating here, and I'm sure Israel is a little bit worried right now that they might be running low on some of these air defense interceptors, but we've been seeing a lot of C-17s, these transport planes coming out of the U.S. and bringing aid to the Middle East, so probably more air defense interceptors for Israel is what I'm thinking. Now, for Moza Defender, Iranian ballistic missiles or interception debris seen in the sky earlier over Bet Shemesh in central Israel. I want to show you guys this because we have had some attacks recently tonight. I just wanted to show you a few videos coming out from Israel. Here's one right here, allegedly, where we're going to see some sort of interception in the skies or a ballistic missile that was flying up here. Looks like it potentially was shot down. It looks like it's burning up outside or up in the sky over here, potentially outside the atmosphere. So there's a recent video coming out from central Israel. And then finally, I want to show you guys this as well from Defense Intelligence. Breaking: Iranian missile breaks through Israeli defense, caught by Indian ship. For the first time ever, a viral moment from the Israel-Iran conflict captured unexpectedly by an Indian merchant navy vessel. Iranian missiles launch with overwhelming maneuvers. Israeli air defense fired interceptors in panic, but missiles broke through and hit its target. Yeah, it's about a minute long. I want you guys to see this. You're going to see a lot of incoming Iranian missiles. You see air defense interceptors going up, like we've got a missile battery right over here launching interceptors to try to bring down these incoming missiles. Just see what happens. It's pretty insane.
My God. Seriously, यार. ये क्या हो गया है?
ये तो चांद है भाई.
तो चांद है. इधर से भी आ रही है, इधर से भी आ रही है. आज हाइफा पे अटैक है भाई. हाइफा पे अटैक है. हाइफा वाले पूरी घूम घूम के नहीं.
वो फक है भाई ये तो.
ये तगड़ा सीन सोम रिकॉर्ड करता है. ओ मैन शोट. ब्लडी फक. ओ ये सर के ऊपर भी आ सकती है. डिब्रीज गिरती है. ओ अंदर जाओ यार. वो गिरी 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 गिरा 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 गिरा. जहाज पे गिरा है. जहाज पे गिरा है यार अपने. जहाज पे गिरा भाई. अपने जहाज पे गिरा. वो ओ माय गॉड.
वो ये क्या हो रहा है भाई? ये गिरा, ये फटेगा कहीं जाके. वो फटा भाई, गंदा ही फटा भाई.
भाई ये आज वीडियो से थोड़ा ऊपर का सीन.
All right, so I'm not sure exactly where this was filmed at in Israel, but this is a very trending video on X right now. And what we're seeing is multiple interceptors going up. There's like at least 2 or 3 different batteries in this area of air defense interceptor missiles going up in the skies here. You can see like multiples, maybe even 4 or 5 just right here in this area guarding the city. And we still see some strikes towards the end here. We'll kind of move a little bit forward, but it was right here towards the end. Look at these missiles coming in and just slamming into Israel, okay? So they are still taking some damage over here, and just imagine how much money they're spending just on firing these interceptors alone. It's got to be very expensive for Israel at the end of the day here. So just wanted to give you guys some updates, let you know what's going on over here in the Middle East. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in for this update on June 18th, 2025. I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for all your support here on the channel. So let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.